Morning, folks. Got a shaving cream this morning. It's the O Bigelow. You can find this at the Bath and Body Works here where I'm at. Can't tell, it says right there in the front. It's made by Preshave. It's it says premium shaving cream with eucalyptus oil. And this one here is the bigger tube. It's what, 5.2 ounces, 147 grams. It's the bigger one. Got the Allen Block no rubber band this morning. Humphrey's witch hazel that's citrus scented. Gonna be following the shave up with Barbasol Brisk. Not much left in this one. And I got it whipped up here in a salsa bowl with a Century brush that was, I guess you might say, freshened up by Strike Gold Shave. Here's what it looks like there in the bowl. Smells pretty good, at least for my nose. And the shaver of the day is I got my single edge Ever Ready shaver with the Gem Teflon coated blade in there. Go ahead and get started with the Preshave soap that's from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. It's called Ice. It's unscented, but it is mentholated. And it's been a while since I done a video. I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday. My daughter did graduate, and she graduated on Wednesday, and it was quite an event for me. Of course, it was for her, but for me, it was quite an event. Quite an event in that, so Wednesday I go to work. So I get off work, and then the idea was that, they open the doors at the PAA Center at 5:30. So the traffic's going to be thick. This is downtown Tulsa. So we get there at the BOK. In other words, we were outside in the car trying to find a parking place, and we were there I think just a shade before 5 o'clock, and the traffic was already bad, backed up. It was very busy, and thing is that taking consideration that there's over 1,100 kids graduating, so there's a lot of folks down there trying to find a parking place. And after sitting in the traffic right outside the BOK for about 10-15 minutes, we went ahead and told them to go ahead and get out and get in line to get in the door, which didn't open until 5:30, and I go find a parking place. So I finally found a parking place in my typical routine, and so Wednesday not being a typical routine, but I went ahead and I carried the normal stuff that I have in my pocket when I go to work and I get off work. So in other words, I had my wallet, I had 2 sets of keys. I have 3, but I left one at work, and did that on purpose. And forgot to take my pocket knife out of my pocket. So because I had intended on just leaving it at work, and got sidetracked with everything that was going on, trying to find a place to park, get in the parking garage, pay $10 to get to go park. It's crazy. Anyway, I forgot to leave my boker in the car. So I get up in line, and they have a sign, electronic sign, that's flashing, all the new events that's coming in the future, and also what's allowed in the center and what's not allowed. So in other words, professional cameras was not allowed, iPads was not allowed, and I saw people coming back out of there with iPads, those cameras and stuff like that, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is something else. Anyway, it's just a graduation. So anyway, I'm getting up there, and I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do with my pocket knife. I say it's a pocket knife. It's not the it's a lock back, in other words, so it's not the smallest knife, but it's not the biggest either. And it was very busy, as you can imagine. Like I say, 1,100 kids. You can imagine all the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, all those folks, you know, trying to get in. And there was a horde. I mean, the line was very long just to get in the door. I had already went and parked, got in line. That's how long the line was. I did manage to save my Boker. I still have it, didn't lose it. But my son, I give him a hard time about not using his pockets because he always seems to carry everything in his hands. You got pockets, put that stuff in your pockets. But he had his pockets just packed full of stuff for the evening, you know, like he's packing the house. So he had earbuds, you know, his phone, and just anything, and his calculator for his homework, and he just had all kinds of stuff. So he had all kinds of fun emptying all of his pockets. I think it took about 5 minutes to finally get through the metal detector without it going off and whatnot, but anyway, it was quite an event. So by the time everything's done and over with and finally get home, now keep in mind we were there more or less just a shade before 5 o'clock. We get back home about 10:30, going on 11, and well, it's closer to 10:30, and they had what they call project graduation. It's what they do is that at 11 o'clock the doors open, which I had my daughter there. By 11 o'clock the doors open and they stay there until about 4 in the morning. So by the time I drop her off and get back home, it's going on midnight, and at 3:30 I get back up to go pick her up. Then after all that I go to work on Thursday. I was very tired. There wasn't any amount of caffeine that seemed like that was helping. If it was, I couldn't tell. I was so tired. But she had a good time. She enjoyed it. They did very good in calling out the names. Over 1,100 kids. They were just saying these names in a very quick fashion. And they did a good job in saying it and saying their names. You know, it was with enthusiasm, if you will, an emphasis on the names. And they had more than one person announcing the name, so they were alternating in between. One would say one, next one, and then they would go back and forth. And they were doing a great job. Really can't complain about how it was handled. I mean, when you got a class that's that big, that's graduating, I mean, it's not the easiest thing to handle. But I did find it kind of interesting, though, going into the center about the professional cameras and the iPads. For me, to a degree, I just had a hard time understanding what the issue was. Knives, I understood. It was just a pocket knife. This is what I carry every day. Every day. It kind of made me think back in the day when I was in high school, which was a long time ago, I know. But I used to carry a charade in a sheath on my hip. It was just an everyday thing that I did back then. Not even thinking about anything about it then, and nobody said anything. It was just a thing that, you know, just common occurrence. But nowadays, yeah, you're not doing that. But it's just something that I've carried for a good number of years in my pocket. Always had a pocket knife. A knife of some sorts. Always needing a knife to cut something. Guess you might say what's acceptable in one world is not acceptable in another world. Yeah, no professional cameras. So it's a good thing I didn't bring mine. And I don't consider mine to be a professional camera by any means, but I'm pretty sure somebody would look at it and would not approve of it if you're talking professional, because it's a, what they call it, DSLR. It's what is it, 52 times zoom. It's got a screen that tilts out. It's a Nikon. I was thinking about taking it, but then I figured it would probably be nothing but getting in the way, not knowing exactly how everything was going to go, because basically our last kids did not go to the BOK Center when they graduated, so that building is relatively new in the grand scheme of things. They graduated at ORU, Oral Roberts University. So, not sure what to expect, you know, how they're going to have it set up. Now this was just a graduation. I can't hardly imagine what it would have been like if this was a concert. How can you say, to a degree my concert days are over, whereas over a long time ago. I've only been to one concert, more or less, and it was a long time ago. It was back when I was in the Army. I was in Savannah, Georgia, and went to go see Bullet Boy, Cinderella, and Winger in Savannah, Georgia. And of course back then it was not quite as bad as what it is now just to get in the door. And I thought that was bad enough. I mean, the line was long just to get in, but we got in, everything went fine at the concert. Got in and out without an incident. It was a good concert, at least for me. It was music I enjoyed, and plus my first, you always see these things on TV, but this particular one, lowering the baby grand piano from the ceiling, lowering it down, that was pretty cool. Wouldn't want to be responsible for that piano. I can tell I'm enjoying this this shaving cream. Nice cooling effect on my face this morning. It is really keeping it nice and cool. It's been kind of cool here. It rained Saturday. Saturday is what we had around here called Rooster Days, and my son was really pretty sick Friday night, and so going into Saturday morning, wasn't too sure whether he's going to be able to make the parade or not, being in the parade and marching with the band. And he was feeling at least up and well enough to get to the parade, and it was relatively cool, kind of a light mist. It had been raining the night before. It was kind of sort of expecting enough rain to wonder whether it was going to have the parade or not. But it all worked out weather-wise, which is probably a good thing it wasn't hot. It's supposed to be get up towards the mid-80s this week here. And it's probably a good thing it wasn't hot, because I think if it had been hot, it probably would have been bad for him. Being cool, it will probably worked out quite a bit better for him. He's still not 100% just yet, but he is doing better. Not sure what took place, all he had. I mean, in other words, he had sinus drainage, he was nauseated, vomiting, all those sort of things. But with him making the Pride, it's going to be a very busy summer, because both of them will be taking summer classes, and then of course, then the practice and whatnot, because they actually, for this band, they do physical conditioning. He's kind of concerned about it. In other words, he didn't live the life that I did when I was younger. I played football and baseball. So in other words, I was always active. And he played football when he was much younger. but that was, you know, for the 1 year, and he hasn't played since. So anything of that kind of physical activity, in other words, like what we had in football, you know, you have your two-a-days and stuff like that, and it would be, you know, near 100 degrees. It just absolutely miserable out there. I'm too old for that stuff now. But I do remember those days. It's going to be fun to see him go through it. So he's got a little bit of time before, I think it's a couple of months before he has to go through that conditioning. So I'm going to try to get him at least part way there before that happens. And even that, I know that there's not enough time to get him up to where he needs to be before this conditioning takes place. And then of course, you know, they also have their practice too. So it's going to be fun. I guess you might say a real eye-opener. Very smooth shave this morning. So in other words, off camera, yeah, this is what I've been shaving with. I finished up 5 shaves on the PAA Injectomatic, and then from there I picked up with the Ever-Ready here. I have a gem that looks just like it. Not quite as nice a condition as this one, but really been enjoying the shaves with the single edge. For me, I'm used to them. I guess you might say I've adjusted to where the angle's at that works best for me. It might have I should have pointed this out. My angle is it's not flat like this, but I do tilt it up to right about there. And it seems to work out pretty good for me. I feel where it works best, and that's the angle I maintain throughout the shave. And smooth, comfortable, no nicks, cuts, weepers, irritation. It just just like shaving with a D, if you will. Here's a witch hazel. It's a really nice shave. It's taken me a few shaves. I mean, I can remember when I first started that they were pretty aggressive. And I think that had a lot to do with the angle and the pressure. In other words, my technique was probably not where it needed to be at the time. But nowadays, it's the great shavers for me. You get really nice shaves out of them. My nose is doing better. I can actually smell the citrus this morning. But with the weather the way that it is, I'm sure I'm going to have at least one more episode of my nose giving me fits. Now this here, believe it or not, they're building a new Dollar General closer to the house. So when it opens, I definitely will be there looking for some of this. The Dollar General that's over by my house, not by my house, but my work, they it's not an old Dollar General by any means. It's, I don't know, maybe 5 years old. It's not very old. And so I don't know if they introduced some new product and decided that this was the best way to go, which it always seems like the guys get shorted in the deal. But they have their shaving products in 2 different locations. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the store, know what to expect, that this is what they normally would have, know where to go hunt for it. It's nuts. Anyway, seems like the guys' stuff always getting shorted. Short end of the stick. Anyway, had a great, really nice shave this morning. And I know that from time to time from previous videos, there's another look there at the brush. Frank did a really good job. He had before and after pictures of this this brush. I didn't know what he's going to be able to do with it. It was not the best of shape, and he did a really nice job. This is a badger knot that's in there, and I have to tell you, when I first put the shaving cream in, it just, how can you say, sucked up all the shaving cream. There was nothing left in the bowl, but I just kept on working with it, and it just finally just all came right on out. Really nice badger knot that he put in this one here. Had a great shave this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.